Welcome back to the Sardine News.
Welcome back, Sardine News. We're going to have a serious sardine report here today, or maybe it's a no sardine report. Because luckily on our team of sardine spies and aficionados and contributors, we have Garry Hook of Hookie's Sardines. And Hookie's Sardines are exactly what you oaks feed the fish all the time. You go fishing. That's where the bait comes from. So Garry is in PE, and I have been bugging him non-stop about these sardines, and let's see what Garry has got to say from the first time I called him on the 29th, I think, of December 2025, because our sardine run actually starts in November and December, but in PE, and then they slowly move their way this way. Okay, just over to Garry. Ciao.
Morning, Sean. Yes, compliments. Yeah, Sean, it was a fantastic beginning of the year last year, and you guys had a fantastic sardine run. But we got some quota at the end of November because the DA decided they wouldn't issue us quota because of the penguins. They're more into looking after penguins now than looking after the people eating fish or the fishermen. But we've never ever not caught fish in December, sardines. This is the first time ever. And the squid is just as bad. It's the worst squid season ever. We don't know what's going on with our ocean here. But something is not right. Either they've done some seismic blasts for the oil, or it could even be Chinese fishermen coming in and wiping our stocks out. There's a few rumors of that. But something has gone very, very wrong. Everything was too good, and everything's too bad now. Anyway, I wouldn't say at this stage looking good for your sardine run next year, because our stocks are your stocks from PE. But it's caused a massive shortage in sardines for bait. You're pretty lucky up in Natal. My son is there, so I've made sure he's got a bit of sardine. But the rest of the country is really battling for sardines. And prices have also increased. Not looking so rosy now all of a sudden. But anyway, we'll see when we start up. They only give us our quotas in about February. And the sardine might have arrived by then here. So let's have a look and see what happens. Maybe it's not all doom and gloom. Perfect, Sean. Ciao.
On the Sardine Map 2026, that there's not too many sardines around the place, but I don't want to cause any alarm. Anyway, then I left the whole of January, and I started bugging Garry on the 5th of February. That was my next phone call to Garry. Hey, Garry, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, here it is. Thanks, Garry.
Hi, Sean. Yeah, thanks for that. I was in the Transkei last week, and there was a lot of gadnets sort of koch away. But I only caught red eyes, a lot of mackerel, and there was red eyes. So I'm not sure if it's red eyes, but there was a lot of action and a lot of showings and a lot of mackerel. So a lot of bait fish there. So the water was a bit cooler down there. We had 21 degrees in the Transkei. In our bay, we're sitting on about 25, 26 degrees. So I think we got too much warm water here. So those sardines are most probably holding out up there. But most probably they're on their way here now. But still very quiet. Only sardines, small, not good condition in Mossel Bay and in Gansbaai. But maybe we get some action now with this fish moving down now. I think it is very late this year. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, so by now I'm quite concerned. Now I'm kind of skimming, what's going on. So I thought a couple of days later on the 8th that I'll try and find out a bit more from Garry, and here we go.
Morning, Sean. Sean, yeah, there's no boats out at Port Elizabeth. They're all at Mossel Bay and Gansbaai. Our boat will be ready to go to sea most probably next week, sort of Thursday, Friday. So nobody can tell us what the fish is actually. but there is a lot of fish around. But there's a lot of mackerel around. Everywhere there is mackerel. From when I was in the Transkei, I think it's all the way down to St. Francis Bay. Yeah, and there's some quite big mackerel, as you can see. Yeah, we'll be able to tell next week, but we have this very, very hot water. It's like 26 to 27 degrees in our area. Sardines don't really like that. I think they were in the Transkei. There they had water of 21 degrees we had. But you know, these things come from you don't know where. But they'll be back. We'll know more definite next week when the boat actually starts fishing here. And hopefully that boat does find something. It doesn't go to Mossel Bay or Gans Bay as well, like the rest of them have gone. Yeah, we don't really know. Nobody's looked here for the last 2 weeks. So we're not sure. Magic Sean, ciao.
Okay, by the 17th of February, I start getting nervous. So I reckon, I'm going to go see myself what's going on. So I said to Garry, must I come there? Is there any action? Can I come and get my cameras and come on your boat? Can we go check what's going on? Yeah, here's a reply.
Sean, yeah, I think you might be wasting your time. We're not sure where the sardines are. Sardines, sure, people are desperate for sardines at the moment. We're going to look tonight from Port Elizabeth to Port Alfred. The boat will look. And maybe we're lucky and we'll find out where they are. It went to the west on Thursday night last week and found nothing. But it's a good night. There's a dark moon and everything looks good. So I'll let you know what happens tonight after tonight. But we've had 2 days of northeast, which has cooled the water down. We've had very high water temperatures, 26, 27 degrees. And I think maybe that is what's making them so elusive. But I'll keep you in touch. Thanks, Sean. Ciao.
And so by this time, the 23rd of February, the seriousness of the situation starts setting in. There are plenty of sardines in the Mossel Bay area and Gans Bay area, and there are a lot of scientific factors at play here, especially the water temperature and El Nino. I'm going to let Garry rather explain the next phase of this examination of what's going on with these sardines. Thanks, Garry.
Morning, Sean. Sean, yeah, we've looked everywhere here in Port Elizabeth, and there's no sardines in Port Elizabeth. It's the first time ever that there's been no sardines when we've opened our season that I can remember in Port Elizabeth. We don't know where they're gone. And last year was the best and biggest season ever for the amount of boats we had. We had massive closed areas, but we still caught fish whenever we wanted to, and the biggest sizes we've ever caught. So that fish all went up to Natal because we didn't catch that fish out. And you saw what went up to Natal last year, but nothing's come back here. But then I think we're in El Nino year where we've got very, very warm waters. We've got 26, 27 degrees waters in some places, but it is mixed. And the divers tell me they had, in amongst the 26 degree water, you can have 11 degree water on the bottom. So that's massive. But there is no sardines in our area. Our boat's gone to Mossel Bay. They're catching in Mossel Bay. Mossel Bay is supposed to have no fish. They've never got fish this time of the year. And there is fish there, but it's not good fish. It's small fish, quality not good. But there is enough fish there. The other place that's got fish, which normally has got fish this time of the year, is Gans Bay. They're catching quite well there, but that also small fish. Our massive, beautiful fish that we had last year, we don't know where that is. But anyway, I think that's all maybe something to do with El Nino or climate change or whatever. I don't think that fish was caught out. Or I guess just lying somewhere else, maybe in the deep or wherever. We're not sure. But yeah, it is one of those weird years. The squid in our area is also non-existent. It was the worst squid catching ever in December, and it still is bad. They haven't had good catches for about 2 years now, but it is extremely bad this year. Yeah, anyway, I suppose that's how the ocean works. On the land, the locusts come and wipe your crops out, and then you don't see them for 10 years. So, yeah, we don't know what's happened. But anyway, it's not good for the bait because the fish from Mossel Bay you cannot transport. The quality is not good enough, so you can't pack it for bait. So there's a massive shortage of bait countrywide. Well, things might change. It changes very fast when it does change. Maybe we have a winter run this year, and maybe the sardines don't go to you for winter. We don't know. But it's looking like things are very changed at the moment. Perfect, Sean. Ciao.
Thanks, Gary. But okay, one thing's for sure, the ocean changes fast around here. And if there is an El Nino at play, which there is, then that could be the reason for all this hot water. But all that happens is when that hot water comes along, the sardines stay deep or out to sea, wherever the cold water is, because their favorite water is like 19 or less. When it gets to like 23, 24, 25, they can even just die. They don't like that water. And as Gary just told you over there is hot water. And even in the Transkei, I got a report from Manny Guerrero about a week ago. He reckons there's 26 degrees at Coffee Bay. That's unheard of. The Transkei does not get warm like that. Occasionally it does, and it did. But warm water is the enemy of sardines. El Nino is possibly the cause of the warm water. As Gary says, the ocean changes very fast, and the next thing those sardines could pop out in a cold patch of water somewhere, because that's how the whole system works. The gyres of the Gullis current, Mozambique current, the Gullis current come down, and then they turn huge big gyres. When they get to the Gullis bank, one of the gyres turns off or veers off and gets trapped on the inside current. Those sardines are in that cold water. That cold water then becomes a counter current, and it goes gently up the coast towards Natal. It takes a whole long process for all this to happen, but basically, I don't know. Things can change fast, but just brace yourselves.